Hey, welcome to Rhythms of Hope for another day. Hey, my prayer for you in this season is that we don't miss the moment. I don't know if you've ever been in a season where you look back and you realize what could have been. My prayer is that all of us in this season, while it feels like so much is being removed and taken and hit pause, my prayer is, my hope for you during this season, and really the hope of Rhythms of Hope, is that while life feels like it's pressed pause, our faith continues to move forward. And I don't know about you, but life for me has never felt so interrupted. Maybe for you it's plans, your business, your health, those New Year's resolutions that you had coming into the year. For me, I know I had a vision of what this year would look like, and I know for sure that it feels like it's been interrupted. And while it feels like everything is being changed and shifted, Jesus invites us in to walk in step with Him, regardless of what's going on in our lives. In Matthew 11, verse 28 to 30, I'll read it from the Message version. The invitation of Jesus is so real and so vivid to us that it's so important that we don't miss it. He says this: are you tired? Are you tired? Are you worn out? Are you burnt out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me. Work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Today, I want to encourage you to buy into the invitation of Jesus to get away with Him. He says, get away with me and you'll recover your life. In this season, it feels like maybe you've lost your way. Maybe it's been so interrupted. Maybe the plans that you have been so radically thrown out the window that it feels like you've lost your way. Jesus' invitation to us, regardless of the season of life that we're in, regardless of the circumstances that are surrounding us in this season, He says, get away with me, come away with me, and you'll recover your life. Now, there's so many things at the moment that we can be doing to lean into this invitation. There are rhythms that we can put into our life that help us keep step with Jesus. I don't know if you've ever been to a wedding or maybe a function where they've had waiters walking around the room with platters. I know my favorite is duck pancakes. And what I have a habit of doing is watching waiters walk around the room and kind of navigating with them the paths that they regularly take, and finding myself, somewhat surprisingly, in the places that they find themselves in too. For some reason, I don't know what it is, maybe it's a spiritual gift I have, but I will usually end up walking away with more duck pancakes, more meatballs, because I put myself in the paths of those waiters. And there are things that we can do in our spiritual walk that place us in the paths that God regularly takes to receive grace in our life. There are things that we can do to position ourselves to receive grace and transformation through the power of the Spirit in our lives. There are things like Graham talked about on yesterday's podcast, things like scripture, and things like stilling ourselves and praying, habits of worship, of silence, things like fasting and gratitude, disciplines that we can put in our lives, good gifts from God that we can put in our lives to receive grace and hope regardless of the season that we're in. But what I want to invite you into today, and what's vital that we don't miss, is that we recognize that while there are things that we can do to place ourselves in the path that God regularly takes to receive this grace and transformation that He has for us, it's that we know that mastering these habits, mastering things like reading scripture, becoming an incredible prayer warrior, learning how to worship in all manner of ways, mastering these rhythms in our life is not the aim. The aim is, as Jesus invites us, is to get away with Him. Mastering a discipline is not the aim. Intimacy with Jesus is the goal. And so my hope for you today is that whatever life has thrown at you, wherever it is that you find yourself, maybe you are stuck on the couch, maybe it feels like life has pressed pause, but I want to encourage you, while life feels like it's pressed pause, you can continue to move forward in your faith. But what I hope is that you don't just become busy with more spiritual things to fill your life in. That we don't become like Mary and Joseph, who went to the temple and still lost Jesus, but that we become people who use these disciplines, use these rhythms in our life to do as Jesus said and come away with Him so that we can recover our lives, that we would learn the unforced rhythms of grace that He invites us into, and as we do that, that we would learn to live freely and lightly.